I'm feeling quite positive at the moment. I've been doing a lot of self-help to sort of like become my best self. Ta-da! Yeah, I was disappointed as well. Have any of you done any self-help? Oh my God. Is this the most confident room full of people, or are we all lacking self-awareness? Which one is it? Let's find out. No, if you don't know what self-help is, it's basically where you wake up in the morning, you look in the mirror and you go, oh, you're a piece of shit. Let's listen to a podcast and sort that out. So I've done sort of 6 months of that because compared to my friends, my life isn't really where I want it to be. And after 6 months of self-help, I just think it would have been cheaper, quicker and more fun just to get new friends. I think because I do this, people think I'm confident, but the reason I sort of done all the self-help is for confidence, because in social situations, I'm quite awkward. So parties for me is me walking into conversations, no one noticing I'm there, and then me just reversing out of conversations. So I started doing these things called like positive affirmations, which is where in your head you say things like, I am lovely, I am a strong and confident woman. So you'll see me in Marks and Spencer's. I'll look completely normal, but in my head, I'm like, I am lovely. And then another woman will walk past, and I'm like, but she's lovelier, because that's what it's like. You always feel like everyone's doing better than you. And then I just found myself in front of Percy Pig. Yeah, you know the confectionery with a face in Marks and Spencer's? Any of you seen him recently? Yeah, he's doing really fucking well for himself, right? It really wound me up, because then I just started comparing myself to Percy Pig. Because I put Percy Pig, the original, in my basket, and I was like, fine, I can cope with him. Then they've got Percy Pig Goes Veggie, because he's Team Greta. He's doing stuff for the environment, right? Then you've got Percy Pig and Pals, because he's a popular pig. He's got mates, and he's telling everyone about it. Percy Pig Goes Globetrotting. He's not on a gap year. He's got money. He's seeing the sights, right? He's sending postcards. I can't go back into Marks and Spencer's in case Percy Pig's got a mortgage. Like, when did we start giving food personality? I don't know if you saw it. When the rest of us were locked down, Colin the Caterpillar, he had a court case. Why is there a cake with legal representation? Oh, I can tell you why. It was because someone was trying to steal his identity. Yeah. No one is ever trying to steal my identity. Because my life at the moment, I'm living back home, right? So I live with my grandma, who's 92, my mum is 63, and I'm too old to be in that situation. Oh, that felt like agreement, didn't it? Because I get quite embarrassed about being 30-odd and living at home, and then I think, fucking hell. Imagine how my mum feels. Like, I saw her, she was arguing with my grandma, and then she just stormed off up to her bedroom without any dinner. And I just thought, oh God, that has got to be worse when you cooks it. Because I always find it really weird, like when I tell people that I live with my mum and grandma, they go, oh, I couldn't do that. And I'm like, yeah, they wouldn't have you. It's a family-based arrangement we're running. We don't run an Airbnb. It's sort of, there's 3 women in that house, so it's very much like women supporting women, but it's financially, not emotionally. My mum's doing this thing at the moment where she's like driving the house prices down in our area. So, you know before when people just used to leave crap in their front garden, like old fridges and sofas and that, you'd be like, oh, they're a bit scummy, right? But now people have started leaving sort of old household objects at the end of their driveway in the hope that other people might need their shit. It's sort of like fly tipping for the middle class. You seen it? My mum started doing it, and I said, why do you keep leaving your crap at the end of the driveway? And she said, oh, I just think it's nice. I just think it's nice to give people things, right? Do you know what she left at the end of our driveway last week? Thank you. I was going to tell you. It was a rhetorical question, but thank you very much for being engaged. Yeah. It was a foot spa and an electric carving knife, right? And I was like, that's not nice. What you've done is give someone a weapon and go, you'll be knackered from that police chase. Put your feet up, right? Because the same person took both. But like, number 78, they've sort of followed suit. They've started leaving stuff out, but it's stuff that is too heavy to take away. So they left out an exercise bike, right? So no one's taken it. It's just turned into, you know that piano at King's Cross? And they haven't taken it. They just turn up for a spin class at 8:30 on a Thursday. She is driving the house prices down. Also, because they're like in their 90s and their 60s, it's sort of like living in the past, living with them. So we still have a landline, which would be fine if my mum didn't sort of enter those radio competitions. Because every time I call her, she's just like, Capital, give me the cash. I don't know if your mum's ever been disappointed that you're not £10,000, but it happens to me every day. Also, I'm at a point where I'm like really single, so it's quite uncomfortable now. So the way you can tell that, right, ladies, you know when you wear sort of 50 denier tights, yeah? So it's like really thick tights. Gets to a point where you start to see the hair coming through and you start to feel it. Yeah, that's been happening when I've been wearing jeans. Right, I went feral. Because I feel like dating's quite a minefield at the moment. Like, I feel like we've forgotten how to talk to each other. This guy came up to me and he said to me, this is how I think he was attempting to chat me up, right? He said to me, he went, oh, looking good. That's how he tried to, I've got quite big arms under here, right? That's how he tried to compliment me. He went, looking good. And I was like, oh my God, that is not how you compliment a woman. And he went, well, what's the alternative? Like, looking good? And I was like, no, I would argue that isn't the alternative. I would argue you don't need to put a mime at the end of every sentence. It really changes the meaning of what you're saying. It's like if I went up to a bloke and went, oh, get in the car. I did that in quite a nice area the other day, and they just thought it was a sports car. They're like, what's the problem? I'm not that good at mime. No, my friend Kirsty is into like spirituality, right? Which is where you've done all the self-help on this planet, and then you go to like another realm. She's into that. She fucking loves it. And she said to me, she was like, if you want to meet a man, you don't need to go on like dating apps, you don't need to do any of that. What you need to do is you just need to pop crystals in your bra. She was like, pop some crystals in your bra. She was like, that'll attract a man, right? Do you know what scares off a man? Well, you take your bra off and a load of pebbles fall out. They will literally run a mile. She keeps saying ridiculous things to me. She's like, you just need to raise your vibrations. I'm like, I've been single 5 years. They are measuring on the Richter scale. They do not need to be raised. She got quite worried about me because I didn't have sex for like a full calendar year. I say it like that because the way it fell, it was like 2 financial years because it was like April to April to April. So it sort of fell in like 2019, 2020 and 2021. She said to me, she was like, I think you might be demisexual, right? Has anyone heard of this? Oh, have you? I can't see any of you. You have, right? So I didn't really know what it meant, but I've done a bit of ballet, so I know a bit of French, right? And demi means half, so I thought it meant sort of like half sexual. But it turns out demisexual is where you can't have sex with someone unless you have like an emotional connection to them. And I was telling my grandma this, because we're close and I've got no one else to talk to. And she said to me, she went, well, in my day, that was just not being a slut. And I was like, whoa, Grandma. I was like, it's 2022. I was like, you can't say that. And she went, well, if a tree falls in the woods. And I was like, what? Would a slut fuck it? What's wrong with you, Grandma? Do you need help? But yeah, my friend Kirsty, she's so she does all this spirituality. She's psychic now. I think she always was, but you know, like that Malcolm Gladwell thing of 10,000 hours makes you sort of like a master in something. She did 8 hours on a Tuesday, so I don't know what she is, but she's a bit psychic now. But the thing is, she's from Essex, so she's a bit like fucking like that, right? So when she reads my palms, I'm like, is she telling my future or stealing my fingerprints? Like when she goes away for 6 months, I'm like, is she on a spiritual retreat or prison? When she's like, I can speak to dead people, I'm like, it's because they're under your patio, Kirsty. What is going on? But no, I am trying to be a bit more positive because I got quite negative. I got a bit like, oh, I'm 30-odd, I'm single, I'm living at home, it's all gone wrong. And my friend Claire said to me, she went, yeah, babe, but it could change like that, couldn't it? It could change like that. Which is a really nice way to look at life. Like, you never know what's going to happen, unless I said that to her. Because she's like, everything's going well, I'm going to move in with John. And I'm like, yeah, babe, but it could change like that, couldn't it? It could change like that. You've been lovely. I've been Fiona Ridgewell. Enjoy your evening. Thank you.